It's crystal clear that they're going to print a lot of money. The Trump administration wants crypto to go up. They're going to repay us by paying taxes. Ethereum is going to rip. I've got a $10,000 to $20,000 price target for the end of the cycle. How do you create a bubble that creates activity that pumps the assets that everybody owns so they feel good in November of 2026? That is the altcoin season that we're going to see, I think, in 2026. This is a time now to deploy capital for an amazing 2026.
Bitcoin Zella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now, guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zella today and enjoy the new edge.
Arthur Hayes reveals looming money printing and 2026 Bitcoin mania. We explore chaos and opportunity. Stick around to uncover it all.
Yeah, so obviously everything is entry-level dependent. If you've been in Bitcoin for a while, you're not that fussed about sort of the lackluster performance, but because we're humans and we like to make these artificial delineations of time, in terms of January to November, whatever it is, then people are a bit like, oh, why isn't Bitcoin the best performing thing in, the 11 months of 2025? Why is it gold? Why is it Nvidia or whatever it is, right? And they forget that for those of us who've been in this game for a while, that Bitcoin's been the best performing asset of all time, especially given the debasement of currencies around the world. But back to this year, we think about the main events of this year. The first was the inauguration of U.S. President Trump. And I came out with a call back in January of this year, basically being like, well, where is the impulse for spending money? Where is the printed money going to come from? Trump's promising all these things. Can he actually make good on them? Obviously, the hype was massive. We had the Trump meme coin launch. And then just like we're in a simulation on January 20th, pretty much the market peaked and it was down. And the April Liberation Day was sort of the icing on the cake in terms of Bitcoin poor price performance, where we get down to like 74,000 on Bitcoin. And then those of us who had cash available were able to capitalize on sort of the Trump taco trade in terms of the trade negotiations with predominantly China and the rest of the world. And obviously, if you've been invested from April 9th until the present, you've done very, very well in Bitcoin and gold and some other things. And now if we come to the fall, I posted a chart maybe a week and a half ago, and it was my liquidity indicator, starting with the debt ceiling raising of the debt ceiling in July 4th of 2025 this year. And myself and other macro analysts pointed out that the Treasury under Buffalo Bill Besant had to raise cash to refill its coffers. And they've done so to the tune of about $1 trillion on a net basis. If you take a look at the Treasury General account, over the same time period, there wasn't really any new source of dollar liquidity being pumped into the system. And we also saw stress in the funding markets, meaning that cash is tight within the U.S. money markets. And Bitcoin pretty much was down 5 or 6%, in line with dollar liquidity down 5 or 6% from July.
Bitcoin's rough week has triggered a wave of extreme fear, yet the biggest players in the market are quietly moving in the opposite direction. On-chain data shows that Bitcoin whales have been steadily increasing their holdings since late October, even as prices slid below the key $90,000 level. Whale wallets holding more than 1,000 BTC hit a yearly low just weeks ago, but the sharp rebound in their numbers suggests large investors see the dip as an opportunity rather than a crisis. Smaller holders, however, are feeling the pressure. Wallets with at least 1 BTC have dropped to their lowest count of the year, revealing how retail confidence has been shaken by the rapid decline. This split between big and small investors has fueled debate over whether old-school Bitcoin giants are selling or whether whales are quietly absorbing the panic. Analysts suggest both forces are at play, especially after recent signals from the Federal Reserve added tension to an already fragile balance. Despite the fear, several industry leaders believe Bitcoin is nearing a bottom. Some call current prices a generational opportunity, arguing that the market is setting up for a rebound. With extreme sentiment, heavy whale accumulation, and stronger support levels approaching, the stage may be set for a dramatic turnaround.
And so the question now is, okay, well, the government's been shut down. The Treasury's issued way too much debt. They haven't really spent any money over the last, was it 40 days, however long it's lasted. And now that we expect this to end, because I guess the Senate voted, or maybe the House voted, I don't know which one, the Treasury is going to get back to doing what it does best, printing money and spending it on stuff, on goodies. Now, you might not like the goodies that they're spending the money on, but we don't care as crypto investors. As long as there's more dollars being created, our assets are going to benefit, predominantly Bitcoin. And so I think that this is the time now to start getting ready for the real show of Trump and Besant. Now, for those of you who watch the U.S. elections in the various cities around the United States, the Democrats had a very good showing. And essentially their message was free shit and anti-Trump. And I think what people forget is that U.S. President Trump is one of the biggest free shitters out there. He did the biggest free shit giveaway, the helicopter money, COVID stimulus checks, which prompted Biden to follow suit. So I know that the team red Republicans like to throw these words, socialism, and that's, a dirty word in American politics around. They're just as socialist as the Democrats. It's just that they hand the money out to big corporations and the Democrats hand it out to migrants. It doesn't matter. We don't care. Take your political ideology out of it. Express yourself at the ballot box. If you want to make money, it doesn't really matter where the money's going. It's just that it is created and Bitcoin benefits. And so I think that if the team red Republicans want to have any shot of winning the U.S. midterm elections next November, forget about China, forget about trade war. It's all about printing money and handing it out, whether that's to build weapons, to build rare earths, to supercharge AI, all the things that the Republicans like to fund. They're going to print the money to make sure that happens, and so that their constituency feels the love going into November and shows up at the ballot box. And that's what 2026 is all about. And now we have this awesome opportunity to get in before it's crystal clear that they're going to print a lot of money. Right now, there's a little bit of uncertainty about, is there going to be enough liquidity? Are we at the top of the 4-year cycle? This is a time now to deploy capital for an amazing 2026.
Global markets are wobbling as fears of an AI-driven bubble sweep through stocks and cryptocurrency alike. After months of soaring valuations and relentless optimism, investors are suddenly stepping back, questioning whether the artificial intelligence boom has pushed prices too far, too fast. The shift has been sharp. U.S. tech stocks have slipped below key indicators, and the Nasdaq's recent drop has only amplified concerns. High spending on AI development is also weighing on expectations, raising doubts about how long it will take for companies to turn massive investments into real profits. That nervous energy has rippled across the world. Asian markets tumbled, with Japan's Nikkei sinking over 3%, while Europe followed with declines across major indices. Bitcoin, often treated as a speculative bet during uncertain times, has taken a heavy hit too, falling from last month's $125,000 surge to $91,000. Analysts say the excitement that once fueled crypto is being overshadowed by caution, especially as investors rethink riskier assets tied to tech. All eyes are now on Nvidia's upcoming results, a potential turning point for sentiment. Some experts argue the pullback is a healthy correction, a pause to reassess the bigger picture. Others warn that if bad news emerges, this could only be the beginning. If you have been watching so far, thank you so much for watching, and do not forget to subscribe to Bitcoin Zella for daily news, all for free. That's all for today's video. Until next time.